a little beat. You know how I am.
Yeah, just a little transition between some of the, I'm really interested in hearing what our
special guest has to say about
our legend has to say about this. That they started the trial. Because I know if nothing else, she has an opinion on this, or maybe not. But I would just love to know what she's thinking about this.
But you know what I want to ask her about? I want to ask her about interviewing all of these amazing people she's interviewed. I want to talk to her about starting this magazine and how did she get it to go as far as it's gone and all of the amazing things that she's done, because as you know, interviewing people is my passion, and to have legendary.
You know what? I'm going to go as far as to say this. You know, I wish that she would have gotten that Meghan Markle and Harry interview. That would have been very, very interesting.
Well, you know what? What I think is very, very interesting is that she's joining us right now in the basement.
Yeah. I like that segue. Go, girl.
You know, we gotta make the segue smooth.
Terez. Hi, precious.
How are you? You look amazing.
I look amazing. Can you spell that for me? How do you spell amazing?
AMAJAMIE.
This is a smart girl. You know?
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's my first time meeting you, though, and I'm pleased to meet you, Elisa. It's Elisa. Did I pronounce it correctly?
No, ma'am. My name is JaVonne.
Oh, JaVonne. Who had Elisa up there?
No, that was somebody in the comments. Yeah.
Right. So Elisa is one of the people who are watching, and so what you'll see from every few minutes is a comment popping up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm JaVonne.
I didn't see her comment, so I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, we have a live chat audience that's very busy. All those are people commenting on the show, so they pop up from time to time on the screen, Jaimie.
Great. How long have you had the show?
Ooh.
So, so I started doing a podcast in 2014. And Terez and Monifa came on, I think sometime that year, early that year or late that year. And yeah, and Monifa had made a comment during our first interview that, no, actually it was later. Terez came on alone and Monifa listened in and said that Terez and I had a great chemistry and that we should do something together. And then a couple of years later, Terez joined me on the show, and for the past maybe year and some months, we've been live streaming.
And it converted because it started off as a podcast. Now it's a radio show.
That's right. That's wonderful. So I got to listen to the good stuff.
Oh my!
Talking about.
Yeah. So we also, yes, we do have a live a radio station now. An internet radio station, WJBR internet radio, and it live streams. Well, it doesn't live stream, but it streams 24 hours a day, every day. It's just a regular radio station.
With good music? What kind of music is it?
All kinds of music.
Yeah, our kind of music.
You can hear Billie Holiday, Eartha Kitt, the Isley Brothers, Michael Jackson.
Who's playing the music? That's it.
So I program the music.
Oh, you program it, okay.
Yeah, and some of the interviews that we do will eventually be also heard on the station. So I'm still in the process of figuring it out, to be honest. You can actually, we have comedy. You hear some Richard Pryor, some snippets of Red Fox and Flip Wilson and Moms Mabley. There's gospel music, there's jazz. You can even catch Sammy Davis Jr. singing the Candyman.
Wow.
Yeah, I think
definitely not top 40, Jaimie.
Yeah, it's a smorgasbord.
Yes.
All of our favorites. You know, Terez and I have quite the music palette.
all over the place.
And so,
how long is your show? Is it 2 hours a night, or what is it?
So it's 2 hours. So you see what's
going
on here. You see what's going on here.
I'm just you can't give me any room to ask. I mean, come on.
And that's why she is the legend. That is why, right there. Because
my God, I've been Jaimie Foster Brown.
She got you. She got you,
Jaimie, and I'm so happy about it. I'm excited.
You all have to understand. You all are my children, and I'm very interested in my children. And so I'm going to ask I want to know who you are. How were you made? Who made you? What do you want to do in life? This is when I was devoid of Black people for 9 years. When I went to Europe, I lived in Europe 9 years in Sweden with my husband. Fabulous guy, fabulous. And he was Black from Birmingham, Alabama. No, maybe in Alabama. Oh, what a gift. He was a gift. But anyway, so I became very inquisitive because there were all kinds of nationalities there, and in particular African guys, and they were all with the Swedish women, and so I would actually cook a lot of food. You know, we grew collard greens. We got a patch of land, sent off for some collard and mustard greens to the United States, planted that joint, and then I went to the slaughterhouse looking for chitlins. Girl, that was an adventure in itself because those Swedes did not know what the hell we were talking about. We didn't know what we were talking about either because chitlins comes in a box, in a freezer or something in the store. Not there. This was coming straight out of the pig. And so they said, what is it you want? First they gave us cow stomach. No, that's not what we want. And then they said, you really want pig guts? And we finally got that. But when they gave it to us and they hadn't cleaned the guts.
Oh no!
We gotta squeeze all this out of what we wouldn't do for some chitlins. Oh my God! We grew the greens and finally got chitlins from them. Taught the Swedes what we wanted and had them to clean it, and we had such a good time. So every night, they're all different nationalities. That Friday night, my husband and I, we did the fried chicken, chitlins, whatever the soul food was. The next night, Mima, Maria, and them, they're from Haiti, so they did the Haitian food. And then on Sunday, we would go to Nini's house, and they had the Angolan food. So we would just share our stories and share our language. And share our food, and we had a Negro good time.
Wow! Did those Swedes ever want to taste the chitlins, or they did? And how did they take to them?
Well, they didn't object to it. They have something else called they have a raw fish that they eat, and so they eat a little weird stuff too. So it wasn't that bad. And plus, I seasoned them very well. But that's how I learned how to interview, because the Black guys, the African guys, had all these different women coming around them and everything. And I was Mama Jaimie. I was held in high court because I was a Black American woman. Okay. And so then I would fix food for them, oxtails and rice and gravy and stuff. And when they would come to visit, my husband and I would put a plate of food down in front of them. And then I would say, so what did you like about that girl? You had 2 or 3 of your girlfriends over at the house when we were there. And so they were in competition with each other. One of them was washing your dishes. The other one got up and swept the floor and all that. So what were you thinking? He said, hey, I got my house clean. So it was like, well, to them, the girls were a dime a dozen. And so, but they treated them nicely. We had a good time.
Sweden is an interesting choice. Now, what got you there?
My dumb butt husband.
Well,
my husband was a gift from God, directly from God. I can pretty much say that. He's a Southern boy from Alabama, and he was teaching at Miles College in Alabama, and he was but he had graduated from Roosevelt University, and he was working on his PhD, and he was very interested. Now listen to this. This is why we ended up in Sweden. My husband had a big heart for his people, just like I do. And that we had in common. He wanted to go to Sweden to learn. They're capitalists, but they have great programs. You know, school is free. You have a baby, the first they send you monthly checks to take care of the baby, to buy the diapers and everything. You know, it's just everything is free. Health care is free. You know, it's a country that takes care of its people, and but it's a capitalistic country. So, but socialism, the socialistic programs. So he wanted to study that to see if we can introduce that into to the United States, but to our Black community, where we take care of one another, you know, and he just wanted to know how the state did it, you know, and he decided we were supposed to be there 1 year. Now, this is the bad thing about it. You can't get a PhD in Sweden in a couple of years. It is like a lifetime journey. And there were many people there who had started their studies to get a PhD and still hadn't gotten it. Once we got there, before we got there, and after we left, still haven't gotten it. My husband was able to get it in 8-9 years. That was a fast track. That he was able to get his PhD in economics. That's what his major was.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Nice.
Why too?
Oh, you know, I said before you came on the show, Jaimie, you know, and I think that, you know, and there are a lot of people that may not know you. Now, I don't know what rock they've been living under, but, you know.
They're living under a volcano.
Okay. You know, say that then. Okay. Because you have represented us in such a way for so long that has made us proud. I want to take it back before 88. And when you said, to the moment where you said, I think I want to do Sister to Sister magazine. No, that's not what happened.
How did I start Sister to Sister magazine?
Yeah, give us that.
I think it was the rejection. Well, you know, I came out of Black Entertainment Television. I was the producer of Video Soul with Donnie Simpson.
Yes.
Right. So that's when I learned and met all these Negroes that soon became superstars, you know.
Okay.
But having been in Sweden 9 years gave me an appreciation and a love for Black people, because we are amazing wherever we go. And I was like taken aback at how smart and cunning we are, and how we figure things out, and how we carry on. And we're just amazing. So I thought about that. But when I came back from I was also disappointed, because when I left to go to Sweden, Black women were going to college so that they could meet Black men who were studying to be doctors, lawyers, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Okay. When I came back, the Black women were still in college and getting their degrees, but the Black men were on the ground. They were eating concrete because of the dope epidemic.
Right.
So they were Black women were going to college, and Black men, our boys, were going to jail. And that tore me anew. You know what? I said, this is not. But the other thing is that I developed a huge love for us and our culture when I was devoid of you all. I could see us differently. So I don't like it when people say niggas ain't this and niggas that and everything else. We're the most fantastic people on earth, and now everybody wants our men. You never hear anybody saying, "Oh, I need to have Pakistani," or they don't even talk about French men. Or should I say women? Or no, you're wearing my company. So anyway, everybody wants our men. That was one thing I saw. Okay. And you don't hear, I have to have a Chinese, not that anything's wrong with them, but I have to, you don't hear that. But everybody, even when our men are supposed to be the worst, and I don't think they don't come here the worst. They're made the worst because they piled them all in jail and just devastated our communities with the drugs. I was away during that time. So when I came back, that's when I saw the difference. A lot of people they say, "Oh, the black people ain't this, that, and another. I said, well, I remember what it was like. I'm old enough to remember what it was like when we had beautiful homes. We took care of our kids, when the mother and father were there. All those things were going on. That happened. Hello. And it can still happen again. So anyway, that's what I was heartbroken when I came back and saw what had happened to my people. And then I wound up working for Bob Johnson as a secretary. Now, how did I get that job? See, it's always important to know how do things happen. A lot of times we don't know how things happen. And white people are definitely not going to tell us how. So, you understand what I'm saying? So, yeah. But I have to, my platform is about teaching us. I tell everything. I tell too much, actually. But I think that God put me through a lot so that I will tell it, so that people can hear it and not make the same mistakes, or make the progress that I was lucky enough to make. And so when I came back, because I had these incredible skills, and Bob Johnson had 2 or 3 secretaries that I'm telling you, he wanted pretty girls. He don't get mad at me for saying this. Okay, this is when he first started BET. They had to be pretty, skinny, light skin, whatever, and long hair, and they couldn't have big feet. That's what I was told. Okay, don't get mad at me. That's what your people told me. But they, typing errors. They didn't know how to answer the phone. They didn't know how to take shorthand and have pristine, clean, great grammar. No spelling mistakes. Well, I have been a patent attorney's clerk at Type Corporation. You can't make a mistake with patent attorneys, and how nothing is familiar. They're talking about a new gadget or widget or chemical, whatever. And so you got to put that stuff down there, right? Because you can't go back in there and say, what was that you were saying? And my sister and I both were taught by my parents, you have to be the best at what you do. And so I was the best, and I had landed before I went to Sweden. I took a part-time job, and I started working for this man named Al Weissman, Jewish guy, and his best friend was the #1 columnist in Chicago named Irv Kelsenet, and Al loved my letters. He said, "Oh my God, the positioning of your letters, it looks so good, everything." He said, "My best friend is about to, his secretary is pregnant, and she's going to quit." He said, I want you to get that job." And I said, "Oh, well, that's really nice and everything." I said, "But I'm going to Sweden. I'm leaving in the fall. I won't be here. But my sister has these skills. She got the job, girl. She became Miss Chicago. She had the mayor, the mayor's wife. I'll just tell you, when she retired, the governor of Illinois came to host her party. 800 people, mostly Jewish, white, and whatever. So, all right. So there's so many parts and pieces to my story.
That's all right. We're here for it.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it all in. So what happened? All these things happen because I got to be in these places because of good training, because I had a skill, because I knew how to talk to people, because I knew how to dress, I knew how to be kind. All these things that I see that's missing in our community today. Our children are not being taught. And we got bad mouths and saying bad things, and and it's like, oh my God, who wants these heathens in here? And I'm saying these things because I want us to learn and do better. And that's what my show is about. How do we treat one another? How do we move ahead? So anyway, now I come back and I get this job with Bob Johnson. Well, there's only 8 or 9 of us working there at BET at that time. Okay. And so Bob asked me, and when his people interviewed me first. And then when he was out of town, then he was introduced to me. He said, "Okay, everybody here just thinks," because they had tested me, and he said, and they were all excited. They said, "Well, everybody thinks that you're really good and everything. Is there anything wrong with you?" I said, "Well, I haven't found it yet." He said, "Okay, take this letter." I took that letter. It was perfectly done, no typos, anything perfect. I was hired right there on the spot. Then he put me in the advertising department. I was a secretary to the advertising manager at that time. Then I'm there. Guess what? Now they got to interview Donnie Simpson, and they had another woman named Sheila. I think her name was Sheila Banks. They were going to be the host of the show for Video Soul. So that he looked at me and says, "Jaimie, write the script for Video Soul for the host." Now I ain't never. I'm like, what?
So take a letter to write a script.
I got to write the show and put in all the, the music and tell them what to say, But I'm educated, so you got to figure things out. When you're given the opportunity, you sit down, you figure it out. So I did the show. I wasn't there. I mean, other people had to put the music in there. It went 2 hours overtime or something. It was something crazy that happened. Bob came in. That was on a Friday. Bob came in on Monday with a whip, banging the desk. Said, "What the hell happened?" No, the show was an hour short. It was supposed to be a 2 hour short. It was an hour short. So all the producers were like, they were blaming each other. Well, he said this and he said that. Not Donnie Simpson. He wasn't blamed because he just read the scripts and did whatever was told. So anyway, that was a lesson. I said, I got that job because I had great skills, and that's because I had something to sell. Mm-hmm. People are buying when they hire you. They're buying something. What are they buying? And you got to make it so that they'll choose your product over somebody else's. So that means you have to be good at what you do. And then it was just off and running. I'm off and running with my mouth. I don't even know if you have another question.
No. I love it because it's about the journey, and this is, and thank you for sharing and being so open. Because a lot of folks, you've been on one side of it. Like you came in, answered one question, and you started interviewing us. And this is an opportunity. And I know you have that, like you interview in your sleep because it's so second nature because you do it so well. I don't know if you heard before you came on, we were talking about a couple of things. I wanted to ask your opinion on some current events, but I also mentioned, I wonder the different perspectives when people cover things as they interview. And I would have loved to see you interview like Meghan Markle and Harry. I would have loved to know how you would have approached that interview.
I heard you say that, and I would have loved to have done that because one of the things I think that I do very well is that I put myself in the place of the person that I'm talking to, and it's important because I tried to go. She was totally not prepared for. Nobody's prepared for, because Princess Diana wasn't prepared for it, and she didn't come from royalty, but I mean, she came from a high, her family was, up there. Mm-hmm. They were, aristocrats kind of people. Mm-hmm. The princess, I'm watching Harry because he's the one that's really in pain. Mm-hmm. Because you got to think about the pain of losing his family, such as it was, and the protection of his family, and the love from, his parents. The pain of losing his mama. Also, remember that he lost a mother over same kind of BS. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then the pain of seeing his wife. Now she's going to think about that. That's with Harry. Mm-hmm. There are different levels of pain to this child. And what is he going to do? They don't have money. Mm-hmm. They don't have the fact that they said, we're not going to provide protection for you. It's like, hey, somebody can walk up and just shoot you. What do we care? We don't. That's a lot for them to take in. Mm-hmm. What kind of cruelty is that? Now I think that the Queen has got to step back and say, this is ridiculous now, because this is not just about royalty. These are God's children. Mm-hmm. Here. How are we treating them? This is not Christian. The way that, you understand? Mm-hmm. We don't like what you got to say. We don't like who you married or whatever. It's like the crucifixion to me. Like we don't even. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Absolutely, no compassion for them. So I think that this took that interview took it to another level, and hopefully the Queen will, say, listen, let's just back up. What are we demonstrating to our public, to our subjects here? There's a lot more being read into this, not just your not wanting to accept what your grandchild has said. This is another human being, two other human beings with a child. There's an innocent child there. And a beautiful grandson. Harry is beautiful. In terms of his heart is so, how do you punish him like that? Who are you? I think it's done, well, actually, I think it's going to be good for the monarchy. I think it's going to make a difference there because they are very beautiful.
Yeah. I hope so, because those tabloids, it's funny because I think that Princess Diana had to endure so much when she was living here. And she was the people's princess, truly the people's princess. And Harry has picked up the best parts of her. I still remember when she passed away. I was actually in Paris the week before she actually was killed. And I say killed because, chasing someone at high speed, she was killed. And then you're taking pictures as opposed to helping her. That was just something that, and by and large, the media hasn't done a great job with respecting people's basic humanity in a lot of areas that we are in, And when I saw that, a couple of things went off in my head watching the interview. One, I thought that, wow, it's one thing to separate the family from the monarchy, right? Because it's the business of being the firm, and then you have a family that's torn apart, and then you have, and with the irony of having to come to America for solace and to be protected by Tyler Perry, that just took it another whole, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, wait a second, what the hell is going on here, really? You have no security. What?
So we don't care about your safety. That is it's diabolical. It's really diabolical because you're like, what are these children supposed to do? The children, meaning Harry and Meghan and the baby,
Right.
And I said, how can you be so cool? And his brother hasn't said anything. Surely his brother could, what a numbskull he is. There's no compassion. Where's your grace? Where's your grace? Your grace. You see, I don't.
And they both kind of edified the Queen in such a way, even in going through this, And honestly, I got left thinking that it wasn't really the Queen. I think this is, the handlers of the institution that are making these decisions for your family, and you're allowing the separation of your family. Like,
I hope.
I think
all that,
I think Charles has a lot to do with it also.
I know it's something that tells me a lot of it.
And I think William is kind of going along with Charles. Yeah. And so that leaves Harry in a situation. And like you said, it's heartless. It's heartless.
We're all God's children.
Exactly.
We're all God's children, and the Queen didn't come here separate from God,
Right.
Or did she? I'm like, so the devil, not that the Queen has a devil, the devil has his people down here too. I've met a few of them actually. His spawn. So there are some very very evil people in the world. I don't know where they come from. I ask God all the time, how did you let them get down here? How did you I'm always fussing at God. Don't say now does this does this make sense? That God. I said, my girlfriend used to say, you can't question God. I said, if I can't question him, I can't question anybody because he's got big shoulders. He can handle my little.
Well, speaking of, No, I was saying, speaking of, like, so I want to skirt you back to what starting the sister.
Right. How did you segue from working with BET
to
starting sister to sister?
Well, honestly, it was kind of like I was an outsider at BET, much like Meghan is an outsider of the palace.
Wow.
Not quite as bad, but
that's quite a comparison.
Yeah.
Well, it was like no matter what I did or whatever I brought to them or whatever it was not, you know, it was like, you know, she was not, I was not elevated or promoted the way everybody else could come in and they would be put in front of me. But the fact is that, okay, they did that. Now, this is a lesson learned. That's what my bosses did, you know, the higher ups. But I'm taking care of all the junior executives of the record labels. When they have an artist, they're calling up, Jaimie, please, I need to get such and such on the air with Donnie Simpson. Sometimes they wanted to be on the air with Donnie Simpson, not just because of Video Soul, but because Donnie Simpson was a programmer at one of the biggest stations, WKYS. So they wanted that relationship. And so I have access to Donnie. I have him 2 hours every day. Okay. So I would walk them into the studio. You know, when there was a break or something like that, I would make sure, Donnie, this is such and such and so and so. You always have to help the other person. You know, it was always like, why not help them? Why not? Everybody, Black people have it so hard and so difficult. We don't automatically know who manages what. We don't have the opportunities and stuff. I'm in a position where I can help people grow. I can help people with their jobs. It doesn't mean that they turn around and help me eventually, because most of the time they don't. They're often on their way. I'm not doing that for them, just them. I'm doing it for me and God, because I always got God looking at me like, okay, Jaimie, now you know better. You know you can help that person, you know, but I don't like them. I don't care. You're going to hurt me. So I was in conversation with him.
You are singing my song, my God.
Because I can't sleep at night. If I know that I could have helped someone or could have done something differently, if I knew better. You know, sometimes I didn't know better, but then that was my job. I felt that God put me in that position so that I could help, so that I could see. And I'm old enough and wise enough to know that a lot of the music and the lyrics are damaging to our community. But it was a terrible thing. I wanted our children to excel and to do well, but at the same time, this was at the expense of our community. With because music is very powerful. But what's the message in the music? Is it a positive message? Is it a pro-female message? Is it an anti-male message? Is it a dope message? All of that we are living through right now. We see the results of that, of what happened. Now, that's a bad thing, but sometimes you have to go through a bad patch and to get over to a good patch, because now we have multimillionaires and even billionaires. Whereas I remember a time there was one millionaire. I think Mr. Gatson had a motels or something down in Alabama. I remember hearing about this 1 million Black millionaire, which was a big thing during my time when I was young. So I'm looking at how how our nation was built and how our music. Chinese music doesn't go. I don't have anything against Chinese, but I'm just saying how we permeate the gifts that are inside of us, the strength of the magic inside of us is worldwide. Our music is worldwide. It's accepted by everybody.
It's true. You don't hear us jamming to Asian music over here.
No.
Like, oh, I got to get that new song by Xiao Chao.
JaVonne is silly. Okay,
JaVonne is cool.
Pretty much.
Well, I have to look at things. I have to look at, even though a lot of the music and what is done to our society, our Black community, and the girls having sex and all this stuff, and babies and no fathers and all that. This is harmful. This is very disturbing to me. But I think it's just a period we had to go through. You know, there were a lot of good things that came out of this. And now we have our rappers that are able to send people to schools and colleges and all that. There are many things that we can do because of that, but there's a lot of harm. And our children, how we raise our children without fathers is ridiculous. It's two people to bring, to make the child. It takes two people to raise the child. Also, I hated that we're not getting good home training, that we're not loving our babies and taking care of them, and we're doing so much harm to one another. But I do also know about evolution, and I hope that this, it will pass and we will get better. So that's my only hope.
Yeah. Now it's time we're screaming out community more than ever.
Yes. So then George Floyd, things happen. I look at things historically. George Floyd had to happen in order to move the world, not just Black people marching. The world marched. On that. So we're at another plateau, so to speak.
Yeah. They started picking the jury rather, this week. I think they're up to 5 or 6. I'm not sure. But which 5? They're up to 5? Okay. So they got their 5th juror on deck. And I'm just so concerned that if this doesn't go the right way, Jaimie, I'm thinking that, this could be really bad for the nation and for the world. I just think that they just need to go on and put this man in jail for first-degree murder, and leave it at that, And
it's not even up for first-degree murder.
I know.
They're debating putting the charge back on, and what the charges are going to be.
No. It's very painful. It's very painful when I watch what happens to our people. I'm not in the position that many of our people are, but the pain is still there, and I can just imagine. I would be so afraid for my children, especially our boys coming up. Our boys are amazing. Our boy babies are, and so they tried to destroy them. I saw a clip. I don't know how. So much stuff comes past my desk, but I think it was Busy Bone was being interviewed by DJ, and he was talking about the fact that these white collar men had come to them asking them to do more rap music. They like the rap, the gangster rap music, because why? Because we can build more jails. It's our business. I think he said at the time that he asked that they asked him to do it was 500 jails, and then there was 1,700 jails across the nation, mostly with our guys in there, whatever. So that's good to hear, because there was a design to make this happen to us. We didn't just do that to ourselves. If you watch Snowfall, the series, John Singleton's series, which is back now, you see it right there. But most of us don't pay attention to. They don't say, "Aha!" You don't get the aha. These mother suckers did this purposely. You know what I mean? Watching it for entertainment and stuff, and I'm like, no, you pay attention to how this happened.
Dropping jewels in there, yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Oliver North, he was that guy. I remember do you remember the trials? And this was under Reagan. I remember all of that. I'm old enough to remember all that. So
So when did Sister come in play? When did you say, I want to know that aha pivotal moment when you said, I think I'm going to do Sister to Sister?
I wasn't very happy at BET. Like I said, I did a lot of stuff for BET, because no matter where you're working, you give 100%. Even if they're not giving it back to you, you still give it 100%. Okay.
Right.
So although I didn't get the love from BET, from the people at BET, I sure did get it from the music industry, because I was making it possible for the person who is the promotional guy in the city. Okay, when those artists come to the city, they have to get them on television, they have to get them on the radio stations, they have to get them in front of the newspaper thing. That's their job, promotion. Get the record on, get the artists out there, get the buzz going. And I was that girl that would say, they said, Jaimie, this artist is just starting up. I said, tell me, who is it, baby? I'll give him 15 minutes with Donnie. Because I had Donnie Simpson was the host of my show. You understand? Now, Donnie may have gotten their record for his radio show, but not had played it or not had thought about it or whatever. There's so many records. But now he is meeting the artist. You know, so that can give him a like, let me just check your record out. You know, I enjoy talking to that such and such. Let me check the record out, and maybe that it would get played. That to me was a blessing.
Right.
To help my people move ahead and to thrive is a blessing. So that's how. So now, okay, so Jaimie did this for me, and I got my record played because they have a job. They got to get the record on, you know. So now, so they're successful at what they do, and they're moving up to vice presidents and, you know, national directors and all that. What does that mean? They have money. They have budgets. Now, when I left BET and started Sister to Sister, because I have a lot to say, I said, where am I going to get? Who's going to pay for this? You know, it was only 8 pages. The first one was only 8 pages. And it cost, they said it was $2,000 to print 2,300. Right. Where are we going to pay for this? How are we going to pay for this? Well, there was Sylvia Rohn. I think we all know who she is. You know, she's the biggest muck in the business now, you know. But she wasn't as high up as she is now. And there was a guy a Jewish man named Art Cass. And I had been good to them with their artists and everything. So I called them up and I said, I'm getting ready to start this newspaper. You know, they already had Black Radio Exclusive, BRE and all that stuff. And I said, I need an ad. And so Sylvia said, how much? I said, what did I say? I said, $2,000. I think I said something like that, whatever it was. And I said the same thing to Art Cass. And they just said, okay. There was no pressure, no having to do no sales, nothing. I had invested in everybody. I had invested in them, you know, not knowing that I'm going to have a magazine or anything. Because in my mind, I'm just a secretary, and then I just became a producer.
Wait a minute.
Of one of the most successful shows on BET.
In my mind, I'm just a secretary and then later producer. That in and of itself is gold.
That's what I was. I was Bob's secretary. But you always think about where you have to go. Well, if they tell me do A, B, C, D, E, I'm going to do F, G, H, I, and J. Okay, this is what I was taught as a child. When my parents would sit us it's 4 of us, it was 3 girls and 1 boy, on Sundays, and this is for parents. On Sundays, my father would sit us down. I mean, we're little. We're like 7, 8, you know. It's 4 of us, my brother. Unfortunately, my father didn't treat my brother well because he was dark-skinned. Pissed me off. I'm still pissed off about that. You know, the girls were all light-skinned. Anyway, and my mother was light-skinned, looked like she could be Mexican, and I guess he didn't expect the baby to look like him because he was looking more like my father, who's dark. But I still have pain about that because I have children now. I can't imagine anybody treating my sons the way he treated his son. Wouldn't even pick him up from the hospital when he was born. He wouldn't go and help my mom come home from the hospital. Okay, I get past that.
That's okay, because a lot of therapy happens on this show.
A lot of girls. You guys make me think about all kinds of stuff. But
that's what happens here in the basement.
Beautiful ring.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Don't ask me where it came from. I've been living so long. It could have come from a pharaoh, for all I know. I probably was back there with him at that time. There were my father, although he had those prejudices, he was very smart. Men matter in the home. And he was the one. He sat us on the sofa, and on Sundays he sat us on the sofa. We had to read the newspaper, And then they would tell us stories about what their work life was like, what it was like with, getting along with other people at the job. Like he worked at the slaughterhouse, and he was talk about how the other guys at the slaughterhouse would be back there drinking, back in the back drinking, hanging out, falling asleep, that sort of thing. Whereas my father would be working. You have to set yourself apart so that they see you. Oh, I think that person comes in on time, gets the work done and everything. I'm going to elevate them. Okay. And so he taught us about that. So his supervisor would give him bologna and cheeses and stuff like that, big pieces of meat to take home to his children. And so my father would also have us read. We had to read. We had to get the newspaper and read. Now we're 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. We had to read. And then also on Sundays, my father, when we got older and started working, would help us get dressed. And he'll be buttoning up my my blouse and looking at my hair. My full name is James Setter. He said, James Setter, you're going to make some young man happy to see you today. You smell so nice. Your hair looks so nice. And when you walk through the factory, as I worked I worked in the office of a factory, a Teletype Corporation, don't have your head back up and your nose in the air. And I said, well, why not, Daddy? He said, because if it rains, you're going to drown. Those kinds of tidbits given to his children were the ones that, always be kind. My mom was the kindest person out. Oh, you had to be honest. And that was a big thing in my family. And I remember where I was riding a bicycle on the handlebars, and I saw a wallet laying in the gutter. I picked up the wallet, took it to my parents. And it was like, this was a long time ago. Okay, this is when Jesus had just left the earth. That's how old I'm. Oh, Lord. But anyway, we took it to my parents, and my father went. He said, where did you find this? And I told him where it was. And everybody was looking around in that area. This woman had just gotten paid. It was $65, okay? But she had just gotten paid. That was her rent, her grocery money. She was hysterical. And they were looking for the wallet, and she just knew somebody had taken it, which I had. So my father went and got her and said, would you please come with me? And he took her to the house, and he said, is this your wallet? And she said, oh my God, yes, oh my God, thank you so much. He said, look at it, it's all the money in there. Count the money. And she counted, it was $65. And he said, okay. She said, oh my God, can I give your daughter something? $5 and everything. He said, her reward is that she got that money back to you. That's her reward. You don't need to give her anything. So was that a lesson for me? Yes, it was. Was it a lesson for, these are little things that make up the character of a person. And I don't see a lot of that happening now. I see a lot of moms, and I'm in pain about what's happening to my community, and I love my community more than myself, basically. I just, because we're full of magic, but we're full of tomfoolery right now, and that's what's been given to us. And so we got to work on how to dial that back, so that we do more positive things. And I think it's going to come. It's just like it's evolving. Now we got money. Now we have power. Now we have more millionaires, billionaires, and everything, stuff we never had before. So it's the, the heart has to catch up with the cash, if you understand us. Yeah, so, and that's just lessons that we have to learn.
We want to play a little game with you, Jaimie. We play a game on this show called Rapid Fire, right? It's a word association game. Look at her face. It's a word association game, meaning I'll say a word and you say what.
I'm subject to say anything. I have no filter.
That's why it's the perfect game for you.
Oh no, my husband would say, Jaimie, shut up. I got my staff here, one of my staff here, and she's tough. They beat me up. They're younger. They're younger than I am. Seriously, you know, this is my opportunity to cry for help. I'm being held captive.
Okay, so I'm gonna say a word.
You're being held captive with a smile, though. I like that.
Well, I have to, because she just slapped her. She's over there smacking her hand like, you're gonna get decked. You're gonna get dropped. You're gonna like Martin Lawrence, you about to get dropped. She's a thug. She said, I'll punch you in the head. I'll punch you in the head. Isn't that something? That's why I can't get rid of her, because I'm scared of her.
Yeah. Right.
Her name is Nadine, by the way, in case y'all, if I come up missing.
Nadine.
Okay. All right.
We got you.
All right. Well, you know, you got friends in high places, so you know, Nadine. All right now.
All right now.
She got her arms folded, looking like a gangster. I'm telling you, she's tough.
Okay. So I'm gonna say a word, and then you say a word. You say what immediately comes to mind.
I got a potty mouth. That's not a good thing.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's a great thing.
No, it's fine for y'all to say, you know, but when I gotta meet my pastor, it's not going to be fine. Okay?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you can't do nothing about that one. Okay.
Yeah, well, maybe you just don't show it to him.
We'll find out. Go ahead. I have several pastors, actually. So,
okay. So my first word is community.
I don't know. For me, it's stress. Because it's stressful trying to get my community together. I'm really concerned about it. You know, how do you start? You know, I'm in Harlem. I can hardly even have a meeting in my office and stuff because of the drug activity and people yelling and screaming and stuff. But these are my people. So it's not like just not just that it's an irritant. It's heartbreaking too, because I see my people out on the street, you know, dealing drugs, fighting and everything. So that's my community right now. And I want my community to be a community, and it's just broken down. You got to think about, they let all those guys out of prison and with no education and nowhere to go. And if they had addiction, they still have it. Because you can still get drugs in prison. I mean, somehow, as I understand. So, okay.
Unfortunately.
But you guess what? I'm in love with Black people, so
well, that brings me to my next word. Black people. Mm-hmm. What comes to mind when you think about Black people?
Amazing. Mm-hmm. We really are. Even with all that has been done to us, we can still rise. We can still do so many things. We're magical. I see the magic in us. So I just think that we have all this dark, crusty crap all painted on us and done to us, and we have to start looking inward at ourselves, that who we are, that we are the beginning of life. We are life, you know. It began in Africa. That's where we're from. And don't blame us for everything that happens to us. Blame us if we don't do better. And that's what because when we know better, we're supposed to do better, you know.
Right. My next word for you is God.
That's my boy. That's my boy. I talked to him. Like, you know, you my dude, right? You do know, you know, I dig you. And God got me out of a pretty tough situation. And I actually, when I was able to escape this abusive person, I had tried to get away from him before. This was way before my husband. No, it was before my husband. My husband and I broke up during the time, and that's when I got with this guy who was like the devil. But anyway, I had tried to get away from him once before. So I've been battered, and that's another thing. So I know mentally what that means to a woman. And I think God made that happen to me so I will have perfect understanding of what the woman is going through. And when they say, well, she should just leave. Well, honey, she's trying to get dinner on the table, take care of the kids, clean the house and everything. He's still kicking her ass. So what is he going to do if she just leaves? Come on. And then a lot of times you got kids. What are you going to do with the kids? He still has access to the kids. So, you know, she's kind of trapped. So anyway, when I was able to get away from that guy, I remember hearing a voice say, "Go, run." At that time, I had tried to run and go before, and he caught me, but not this time. I heard it say, "Go." Well, he either said go or run. I used to know exactly what it was, but I'm getting old, so I can't remember. I knew it told me to get the hell out of there. That's what I did. That was it.
All right. And my last word before I pass it over to JaVonne is hope.
I have plenty of hope. What are we going to do without hope? You know, we go into despair. We can't be in despair. We have to be, we are a magical race. So even if it means that you only lift up one person in your life or two people, it's give them hope. Give them hope. When you give them hope, then you never know where that comes back from, where your gifts come from. You know, I cast as much as I can. I throw pearls everywhere. I don't, and nobody is swine to me. You know, sometimes they don't cash your pearls before swine. Some of the worst people that you think the worst people are people that can be touched. You know, they just need to be shown some kind of tenderness. You know, a lot of our kids are coming up dead and beaten, and you don't know what these children are going through in their homes. You understand what I'm saying? My father gave me a whipping one time, and I'm still not over it. And that's been centuries ago. And he was justified, I guess. I don't know whether he was justified or not, but anyway, I have a lot of hope for my people.
Good. Well, JaVonne, you're up next. Thank you, Jaimie.
JaVonne, thank you. Terez, don't come back to me with these hard questions. I don't know. Terez, this is my last time talking to me. What you got to say, JaVonne?
Music.
Oh, you got music?
Yeah, I got music.
Are you going to ask me what kind of music I like?
No, just what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word music?
Well, it's really interesting because I listen to music all day long, but it's very eclectic. Like I just finished listening to, right before you came on, who was it? It was Isaac Hayes and Singing with Who Though. But I also listened to James Brown and Luciano Pavarotti. Those two were singing together. So I can go there. I can be in the opera. I can understand that. I like real, rap. I like rap. I don't like the messaging in it so much, especially when saying nigga, 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 and all like that. What other race talks about itself and their women? We gotta learn to do better. I understand that this was a way of, we have to graduate out of that. We have to come up out of that, but what they do is they use that because that's what everybody grabs onto. Oh, it's fun to talk about black men or black women and call them NIGGERS, and we do that to each other more than anybody else does. And I don't know how we're gonna move out of that because we don't have any leaders teaching us that, hey, what you say comes back at you. What goes around comes around, and you got to hold your women up high. This is from where you come. This is your birthplace. They haven't been taught that. We don't have the churches. I'm so disappointed in the leadership of the church. When I was coming up, we were taught in church and Sunday school how to act and what to be and what to value and family and all that. That's not going on so much now. It's what do they call it? Prosperity pastors. They want that money, they want that cash. But you got to at 10, 15 minutes out of that service, I need for you to be telling me what's about to go down and what I should do to protect my kids, my house, and everything. You need to tell me that. How I can save my money, get whatever. I need to have lessons in life, not lessons in the afterlife. Because you ain't been in the afterlife. You cannot come and tell me exactly what happens there. So tell me about what's going on right here, right now.
Lessons in life and not lessons in the afterlife. That's a word for your ass right there. Right there.
Trust.
This JaVonne.
Trust.
Oh, you're asking me to trust.
No, I'm asking you what word comes to mind when I say the word trust.
I guess it would be God, and then my husband. In terms of, I had complete trust in my husband. And because God gave me that man, because that was a gift. I can't tell you about that dude. He was a gift. My husband helped design my mind, because I was stupid. I wasn't stupid, but I was a wild girl. I was engaged to two guys and two men and 5 boyfriends, I think. I wasn't having sex with all them people now. Come on now. I had a stable. So I had a stable. I don't know why. My sisters were much finer than I was. I mean, they were the light. Oh, you know what? My sisters way back then, this is like 40 years ago, something like that, they had those Coca-Cola bottles shaped like Lisa Ray in them. Naturally. I mean, a lot of people can get it now, but they were always the chosen one. Now, I was shaped like my daddy, straight up and down. I ain't have nothing. I didn't have no behind either. I got a behind now, but it grew, in my old age. But my sisters were slamming, man. They would have them, how they have those models in the parades, just sitting on top of the car and everything. I was never asked to be. My girlfriends would ask my sisters to be in their weddings because my sisters, they wanted all the girls with the shapes and everything. But I said, well, but I'm your girlfriend. Yeah, but you ain't got what they got, so okay. It didn't really bother me that much though, because my parents really gave me a lot of self-esteem. I knew I was okay.
Nice.
What else you coming with, JaVonne? I'm gonna start asking you questions. Next time I ask questions.
Creativity. And you can ask me questions anytime you want.
I might do that.
I'm yours for asking.
What about creativity? I think that we are the most creative people on earth.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. We are poets. You ever think about rapping? It's poetry.
Mm-hmm.
We're just amazing at the things that we're able to do and how we can survive with nothing. So even from we can come up with the most beautiful hairstyles. Look at that stuff. I mean, come on. I'm like, Negro people, y'all going with your bad self. I mean, we got it. We came from the Creator, and we have so much creativity. White people do too. Italians do too. I studied them too. I was listening to some paparazzi earlier, and Barbara Streisand. I listen to everything. I mean, these are God's kids, so I have to pay attention. I can't be prejudiced, but I can observe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that leads me to Chaka Khan.
What about her?
What comes to mind when you hear?
Oh, you asking me what comes to mind?
Right.
It's so funny. It's so funny. I always use Chaka Khan as an example of when I'm trying to tell people, listen, I will only do so much. You all got the rest of it. You all got to do the preparation. I come in like Chaka Khan. When she comes in, the tickets have been sold. The advertising has gone up. People paid the price. There's lighting. There's the band. There's the equipment and everything. She comes in. She goes in there and she sings and she thrills us and she drops the mic and walk out. That's me. Don't bother me with all that other stuff. I don't want to be bothered with all that.
I dig it. And my last one, possibility, potential.
For me or you, for us as
for you, only you, not the people, not the community, not Black people as a whole, not the church. Jaimie Foster Brown.
Well, right now, I want my people to do better, and that's all I really care about, besides having a boyfriend.
So the real potential boyfriend, right?
Yeah, my husband and I were together 46 years. I'm used to that.
Mm.
And he was very kind. And let me share a secret with you. And I hope that you all do this in whatever kind of family or relationship you have. At the end of the day, we would get the bergamot hair grease and the comb and brush, make the tea, and I would sit in between his legs on the floor, and he would part my hair, scratch my scalp, oil it, and braid it. And I would do the same to him. During that time, when the little ignorant babies ain't crying and everything, they gone. Because you got to stay. They're in the bed asleep or whatever. During that time, that's when we share things that made us angry, or just a story about our before life. Well, you know, my husband, I would tell my husband all kinds of things. And then when I got sensitive about something, he said, well, you're probably sensitive about that because remember you told me this and that and that's and that. So we had a great time in the evening learning who we were. We didn't have children for 4.5 years. So we gave our marriage a chance. You know, you come in there with babies, you know, that child's got to take up a lot of time. And I'm so glad that we were able. So when I started acting up or acting crazy, or he did, or, you know, he said, well, you know, you got all sensitive like that because your dad used to say blah, 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 blah. Because I had blah, 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 blabbed everything. So I said, shut up, you know. We had so much fun. I really miss my husband, and he was just, but you got to know how to pick that person, because he wasn't the one I was particularly sexually attracted to. Well, there were others, but his mind, I was attracted to his kindness, and he's smart. I married a smart man. I can't tell you how important that is. They can be smart, but you don't want them to be smart and evil, or smart and arrogant, or smart. He was very humble, and plus he was fine as wine in the summertime, girl. And I never looked for looks, because my father taught us, don't you be just looking at looks. You better look for his heart. So listen to what they say, how they talk to you. That's very important. You know, are they compassionate when you do something wrong or something harsh happens to you? Well, you shouldn't have gone anywhere. I told you not to go down there. So, okay, you got hit in the head. Well, you know, shame on you. You don't want anybody talking.
Well, people are asking for a part 2, so you have to come back and visit us again.
Oh, no, you're going to have to pay. Send in their dollars.
You take EBT cards, because or whatever they call them, food stamps. I know food stamps. You take food stamps.
Thank you for listening.
When is the book coming, Jaimie? When did you say the book was coming?
Oh my God! So that book would be so. You know that what? Tell them to tune into the show after they've listened to you all. Okay. But a lot of this will be revealed on my show. Okay. You know, just like I'm talking to you, because I think God gave me some kind of wisdom. I got two pennies and 2 cents to say certain things, and then He put me through all these things and made me aware of what I went through and the results. Results are everything, and I can say this too. That it starts off with having a good heart and being kind to one another. My platform is teaching us how to be kind to one another, how to say nice things, not to tear one another down. I can't stand it. And also to have that, you know, create value in you so that somebody wants to purchase what you're able to give them. You know, maybe you know about law, you might be a lawyer, or it could be hairdresser, whatever it is. With me, I was an excellent secretary, and that's how I kind of moved up. And then it was kind. I helped the people that I helped when they were little bitty promotion people, when bringing them to Donnie Simpson, putting them on BET, were the ones who helped me in the end. Because by that time they had dollars, they had millions of dollars that they could spend on their artists. They took us on trips to Paris. Jaimie, we're going to do a promotional thing with R. Kelly in Paris. Would you like to go? Come and go with us. We'll pay for everything. Nice. You know? So always being kind and always looking, what can I do to help that other person? Because that's God's kid over there, you know. So I'm not trying to mess with him by messing with one of his children. So I always keep that in mind, you know. So because I always feel like, oh, he's looking at me, and no, you're not going to tell me to go back home down there when, you know, I'm trying to get up to heaven. Right. It's fun thinking about getting in heaven. I have to tell you that. So it's great. It's just, oh God, that's why I don't fear death. You know, I'm like, you know, what is it time for me? Go, okay, come on. You know, I just feel like, now I could be wrong. You know, a lot of times, you know, you think you're going to get an A on a paper and you get a D. You know,
I think you are so spot on with Mrs. prediction for your life.
Mrs. Brown, we need a drop from you for our show.
What is that, liquor? A drop of liquor?
No, a vocal drop. Hi, this is Jaimie Foster Brown, and you're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Hi, this is Jaimie Foster Brown. I'm in the basement, and you're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jaimie. Tell everybody where they can find you at Sister to Sister 2.0, please.
I don't know, you know, Mike, who I adore. I have my team, and Mike is ahead of them. They change. I think they change it every time. Where can they find me? Ask Mike.
I will ask Mike. I will actually.
Just whatever. I don't know. I can't remember. What is it? It's Sister to Sister 2.0. And then, but there's something about the Instagram and everything. Mike is going to say, if I have to tell you this one more time, it's just, well, okay. Mike will tell you, you know, here, please forgive me, because I don't look me up. I don't look at me except when I got to go and talk to beautiful people like you. And I, you know, and I enjoy that. I love the love that you all have amongst yourselves. And don't, you know, I don't like it that we don't have to be mean to each other. We can just lift one another. We are an amazing race. So we got it going on just from the jump. You know, and just all we have to do is build on that, you know, in our day to day. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Where my girl?
She is busy doing her stuff.
Busy my ass. I'm here with you. Oh, she ain't got time for me. I took time for you.
She got time. No, she's not here. I'm not home. I'm broadcasting in the field. I'm not home.
Oh, you just trying to save her, which is
no. I'm not home. I wouldn't lie to you. I'm not home.
You could have zoomed her in. Okay, I don't care. All right, okay.
You know what? She gonna call you directly. I was like, y'all got a relationship.
Give her a kiss. Give her a kiss. And JaVonne, thank you for having me on YouTube, Terez. Okay,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
And everybody have a great, blessed evening, and enjoy the rest of your week. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Stay safe, and God bless. It was such a pleasure, Mrs. Brown. I love you already.
Bye. I love that. How Paula, what's up, Paula? I do.
Bye.
What's up, y'all? This is Dawn Robinson, formerly of In Vogue and Lucy Pearl, and you're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. My girls. I love you all.
Hi, this is Mason. You're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Perfect.
Hey, this is Leon. That's right, Leon, for some of your favorite movies, and I'm at brunch in the basement with Terez and JaVonne. Stay here with me. Stay here with me. Stay here with me.
Still in the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Terez on the microphone. Music, politics, or just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artist or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Let's see who we got today. Come on, everybody's a friend in my head. I already know everybody. Whatever it is. One day I'll tell you about me and Shaka Khan, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But she doesn't know anything about it. But anyway. No, she doesn't. She wasn't even there actually. But anyway.
All our bosses though, Jay. She's got our ears and
I'm gonna send y'all some. I'll definitely get an address. I'll send y'all out.
You can send me some cologne, cause I mean, you know. Yeah. Just in case I should meet Shaka Khan, I want to smell really, you know, nice.
Oh God.
Okie dokie, babe. Whatever you say.
The time, so
and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you. This part, that little piece, I'm just gonna keep and play it all the time for myself. But no, I'm just teasing.